President, Afghanistan also aligns itself with the statement made by the group of Friends of Women. At the outset, allow me to thank the Permanent Mission of Kenya for hosting today's open debate. I also wish to thank all speakers for their solidarity and support to Afghan women and girls. Since the adoption of the Security Council Resolution 1325 almost 2 decades ago, women in Afghanistan have made significant progress across a range of indicators. But sadly, this year's Women, Peace and Security debate comes on the heels of a new chapter, a new dark chapter, for millions of Afghan women and girls who are about to lose these gains they achieved with the support of international community. Mr. President, prior to the illegal seizure of power by the Taliban, the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan had demonstrated its full commitment to the implementation of the Resolution 1325. This began with the first constitutional Loya Jirga in 2002, when 220 women representatives out of 1,500 participated in this Grand Assembly in Kabul to draft a new constitution after the overthrow of the Taliban regime. Subsequently, Afghanistan was among the first countries in Asia to adopt a national action plan for the implementation of Resolution 1325. The plan sought to increase the role of women in state building and acknowledge the negative impact of conflict on women and girls in particular. The plan also envisaged protection and promotion of the rights of women and their role at leadership and decision-making at all national institutions and level of government. For the first time in our history, female deputy ministers were appointed in security ministries. Over 5,000 women served as police officers, while another 3,000 women were drafted in the Afghan National Army. Women played a significant role in the judiciary. A new decree in 2020 stipulated appointment of women deputy governors in all of the country's 34 provinces and establishment of the Office for the Prevention of Violence Against Women. In 2019, the government increased involvement of women in peace efforts by launching the National Women Consensus for Peacebuilding Initiative and the convening of a consultative Loya Jirga or Grand Assembly for Peace, with women constituting 30% of the participants. Moreover, with the demand for inclusion of women in peace talks growing, the Islamic Republic included 4 women in its negotiating team, while the Taliban continued to exclude women from their negotiating team. Mr. President, Afghanistan is facing an imminent risk of turning back in time, back to when international terrorist groups operated freely across our territory, millions were forced to flee, girls were banned from schools, women were second-class citizens, and human rights were violated. Protecting Afghan women's rights would remain the litmus test for how serious this council or this chamber is about the WPS agenda. Here, I would like to repeat 4 concrete recommendations in this regard. First, we must remain steadfast and united in our position to safeguard the progress made by women and girls in the past 20 years and protect their rights. Any compromises on girls' and women's rights in favor of political expediency would betray our collective efforts to promote the WPS agenda and undermine the implementation of Resolution 1325. As I speak now, thousands of brave women and girls are demonstrating on the streets of Kabul, demanding access to employment and education. Today is day 34 of Afghan girls denied access to secondary school. How long do we have to wait before these girls can return to school? How long? These women and girls in Afghanistan are pinning their hopes and dreams on this very council and world body to help them recover their rights to work, travel, and go to school. It would be morally reprehensible if we do nothing and let them down. In most conflict situations, women and girls are disproportionately affected by its negative impact and bear the brunt of the humanitarian crisis. It's therefore essential that the international community is deliberate in targeting vulnerable women to ensure humanitarian assistance reach them and involve Afghan women in humanitarian activities. My third recommendation is 4 decades of conflict in Afghanistan has damaged the social fabric of our country. It's time to begin a different conversation and invest in social healing and reconciliation. We must shun violence for good and socialize peace as an alternative and a means to settle our political differences. Afghan women can play a significant role in this process as a group predominantly affected by the conflict. The Taliban must know that they may have won the war, but they have yet to achieve peace. Finally, Mr. President, peace and stability to Afghanistan can only return when Afghan can establish a truly inclusive and representative government that includes women as important stakeholders in peace and future stability of the country. Our failure to achieve the above would not only disenfranchise 50% of our population, but risk descending Afghanistan into another cycle of violence and instability for years to come. Finally, I wish to thank the international community for its generous financial contribution and unwavering support to the Afghan women in Afghanistan. I thank you, Mr. President.